What's up, everybody? It's Facebook Roundtable, as I've labeled it, part deux. And the first one, I mean, that video went bananas, huh? Lots of comments. Everyone's super excited. And we promised we'd be back beginning of January, so it's a little bit delayed. Our apologies. But it couldn't have been more perfect time because we actually sent a spy into the midst of Facebook offices. I don't know how they let Kurt in there, but they did. So how did they let you in there? Did you have to like pretend to be someone else?
No, he's got videotape.
Yeah, I got it. The guy I went with, he's like, Kurt, you're gonna have to check your cell phone in at the front door. I'm like, yeah, I'll be naked walking through this place. Like, I just want to talk to someone. You can go ahead. I don't care if someone wants to see 280 pounds walking around. Like, they'll have to do it.
Oh my God. Amazing.
Or answers.
So they let you in.
So, yeah. So here's the thing. Like, I'll start with the story because I love stories as well too, right? Yeah. So just a couple of things. You guys can hear me okay and everything else, right?
Very good.
I guess fine. Good. So what was really interesting is it's like, how much money do you have to spend with Facebook to get a rep, right? Like, none of us really know. Everybody has an idea.
Yeah.
300, 400, 500, 600,000 a month, $1 million a month. I know people that spend over $1 million a month don't have a rep. So it's like, I don't even know what the qualifications are.
I know people that had $8,000 and had reps.
Isn't it interesting? Yeah, I go speak at events and I'm like, it's really difficult to get a rep. And people will be like, I got a rep. How much you spend a month? And they're like, I spend a lot. And I go, what's that? About $7,000 a month. You gotta be
exactly.
So I'm always going through my mind, right? It's always like, okay. And by the way, I do this for support tickets. If you run an agency, you can do this. This is just my insight. I was told by Facebook to do this. I spend X amount a month. I have X amount of clients. We're looking for Facebook assistance. Anything that we can do to participate inside of that journey, please let me know. I'm just looking for qualifications and exactly what I should do correctly. And then we ask our question. Sometimes we'll get a question answered. Sometimes we won't. So I've always wondered, what's the qualifications? What do I have to do? What do I have to prove without being illegal? Who can I buy lunch to? What can I do for coffee? Like, these guys, Facebook can't be bribed, meaning that I've said, hey, can we just go out for coffee and just chat? I just want to build a rapport. Like, we can all be friendly here. Like, we can all meet up in San Diego and high fives. Hey, how's it going? Like, I just want that kind of relationship with a Facebook rep. That's it.
Yeah.
So what's really interesting is we had a new guy start here, and he goes, I know a friend who worked there as a temp who knows this girl that they hang out with on a regular basis. Maybe we'll just go meet up. And I'm thinking, out of all the qualifications, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. You could have wrote that down on your resume, buddy.
Yeah. So we ended up going to Facebook, and his friend was going to meet us before. It didn't happen, which is fine. So she comes walking out of the door where they have this huge, the bottom floor of the building they're at has this huge floor where everybody eats at, right? And what happens is they all come down there to eat, then they take the elevator and they go back up to work. So we were all there and we were invited for lunch. So she comes out, his friend isn't there yet. So it's one of those awkward kind of like almost first blind date, meetings. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Everybody's like, and then she's like, what's this social media ad genius black box? I'm like, oh, I'm the owner. I think she thought employees were going to come over and ask questions about ads. So I was trying to think with her, and this is good for everybody because here's the deal and I'll be quick on this. I think it's important information is Facebook has the ability, if they want to respond or not. And then Facebook can choose to give you a canned answer or not respond at all.
Yeah.
So people are attracted more to the emotional level than they are the logical. So driving on in saying, let's talk about my 10 ads. I turned it into, let me tell you the story of being an entrepreneur. I lost all my money. I learned how to advertise on Facebook. I've traveled around the world now. It's amazing. We have happy customers all over. God, I love Facebook. She kind of rolled her eyes. Damn it, that didn't really work. And what ended up happening is we went back to lunch. So we really started going over a lot of the questions. Now, here's some of the interesting things, and I'll make a video. And by the way, I just did a video recently because I know a lot of other accounts have gotten shut down. Like I did it last night, and I'll share it underneath here and everything else.
Nice.
So I'm going to give you the good news and the bad news. So it's just interesting. The good news is we know a little bit more. The bad news is I think I found out I knew less than what I thought I did before.
Oof.
So this girl is actually in charge of ad compliance. So there was a couple of times where I saw her screen what specifically that they're looking at, right? Wow. So here's a couple of things. Videos are doing really, really well on Facebook. Like I've been teaching this a lot, and I don't know about you guys, but retargeting with videos, 2 to 3 minute videos, just crushing it. So one of the things that I tested here recently is I did a webinar with a guy, Todd Brown, and I retargeted from the webinar because we were talking about retargeting. So I'm like, I should probably retarget everybody, right? I think we spent $143 and we made $5,700. So it was interesting because Todd made 30% of all total sales between 7 p.m. and midnight, because actually that's when the video got approved and it just started skyrocketing. But here's what I did is I took my presentation and I boiled it down to 7 minutes, and I ran that video ad to say, hey, here's just a 7-minute preview of what you missed, just because we found out that our earnings per click coming onto the replay page were like 3x for what people attended the webinar. Yeah. And they were watching that preview, going to watch the review, which they could just click the buy now button. So I'm like, okay, this is a presentation about Facebook ads. So what the hell do you think I had screenshots all over, right? So I ran a special with a video right before Christmas. And it was a year-end special. I recorded 7 minutes. Here's everything you're going to get with one of our packages, blah, blah, blah. Facebook shut down the ad, said I used Facebook's image. It was not my thumbnail, it was not my copy. Not on the landing page either. So I filled out a support ticket, which then they escalated and said, hey, Kurt, thank you. I'm going to have to escalate this. Then they closed the ticket. So I had to reopen the ticket. Then it disappeared. So I had to fill out a support ticket about the support ticket because I don't want to re-upload a video until I know what I did right, because I want to be a good citizen, lead by example, right? So I fill out 6 support tickets, never get the video back up for the new year. January 11th, I get an email from Facebook that says the reason that your video was denied is because you had Facebook likeness in your video, which I'll get to in a minute. And they sent me over a link for Facebook. I think it's facebookbrand.com.
Okay.
There are only certain screenshots you can use when talking about Facebook. You can't say FB ads. I mean, that's what we all do.
Yep.
We can't make any reference to Facebook. So when I was talking to the girl and I'm like, okay, why did you deny my video? This is important. They only watch the first 30 seconds of videos, but they watch it at 10x speed. So when it comes up on their dashboard that I saw, it comes up on the dashboard, it plays at 10x speed, but it'll show 10 different other thumbnails. So because my video was denied, I told her, since we don't know the rules, we kind of make them up in our own head. So I'm like, I just went to all the audio places that I said Facebook. I didn't mute it. I deleted that. So I'd be like, you guys want to see the best traffic source? It's one of the most amazing things you guys will ever see. People watch the video longer, so I guess that was a hook, right?
It's a good pattern interrupt, actually.
Which it really is. And people are like, what? So here's the other thing is when Facebook denied the ad, I put actually a censored label. It said censored over every single logo that I had with Facebook in my 7-minute presentation.
Wow.
So what happened is my account got turned off right before Christmas. We got it turned back on. The account got turned back off right in January. It got turned back on. And then it was with the video. So I told Facebook when I met with them, I go, look, I got a warning on the 11th. What I did wrong. Great. Now I know the rules. Thank you so much. And you guys closed my account 12 hours later, like after I made adjustments. So I'm not quite sure. And here was the interesting part. And I don't want to hog up too much of the call. There's just a couple of points I really want to go over. Is she said, videos, images are reviewed by all different people. Like someone could just look at the 20% rule. Someone else could look at, so you could have ads running for 3 days and that's why you get a decline. Someone looks at a headline, copy, image, or video, or different parts in the video. These are all different people.
Wow.
80% of all ads are, this is where I think I'm probably going to get shot. 80% of all ads are automatically reviewed through an automatic process. 20% of ads are reviewed manually.
Yeah.
Then what happens is every 90 days, there's a physical manual account review. So they have this 3 strikes rule, which I was really trying to get specific about what are the 3 strikes. She said they reset every 90 days. So like you can have no ads declined. They do a review of your account and it's just automatically shut down. And then she was under the belief, she goes, well, wait a minute, you'll get an email that will tell exactly why you were shut down. And I sent her over proof that they're all semicolons. You were shut down because of whatever. I recorded this whole thing in the video that I wrote.
Yeah.
So she said, well, here's the thing, Kurt, you had 3 strikes. And I go, we haven't had any ads declined in 60 days. She goes, well, actually, you had 2 of them that went over the 20% rule. And I'm sure everybody's done this where they check their ads, tool works, Facebook says they don't, you dispute it. They're like, oh, you're right. The red mark's still on your record.
Wow.
So I got my account closed, and I'm just being very open here, full kimono. I got my account closed or suspended because I got it reopened. So there is hope out there, by the way. I got it reopened in December because they said I made unsubstantiated claims. And I go, I teach this. There are no unsubstantiated claims anywhere. You're not going to see. You're going to see emotional testimonials. There's no money. There's no lead. I don't have any claims whatsoever. Please look. Then they turn my account back on. Well, when I talked to the Facebook rep goes, Kurt, you had unsubstantiated claims. And I go, no, I didn't. Like Facebook even said it was, but it's still a black mark because they said it was there. So then she goes, well, Kurt, people have clicked on your site and said it was untrustworthy. And I go, again, I'm just full kimono. I'm just open. I spent $235,000 on social media ad genius ads last year since March. And the last part of it was really the last 4 or 5 months of the year. So I go, look, you're telling me I sent millions of clicks and I got a couple of people that said I was a scam? Let me ask you this. I have customers all over the world. I have a super low refund rate. I have people really happy. Of course I'm going to attract crazies.
Yeah.
He goes, well, Kurt, it doesn't look very good if you have unsubstantiated claims, people saying your website's not trustable, and then your video. So here was the kicker on the video. I put censored all over everything. The lowercase f is trademarked. So anywhere that you have a lowercase f, like in my presentation, I say, this is what we learned in our agency. This is what we learned from Facebook. And there's a picture of the F. That's one violation. Then I had a screenshot of my ad account to show that we spent $5 million. That's another ad violation. Then there was an old logo that I resized, another ad violation. I then showed a screenshot of a post to show people what a boost post was, but it's not an improved image through Facebook. So they said all those violations added up and closed my account again.
Wow.
And she told me over and over, she goes, if you guys, and this is where I kind of round out the whole thing. She goes, if you guys were to read the terms of use, you wouldn't have any of these problems. Appreciate that you sitting on the other side of the table. Like, this is what I do. Now, I'll give you a little perspective. You have the butterfly effect. So you don't know this and you have no idea who I am. But like, I talk to lots of people all around the world. I'm really connected with some amazing individuals. Whatever you tell us, I'm going to communicate with those guys. So just tell me the right thing. And I'm going to tell everybody. Like, that's just the way that we roll. There's so much business out there. She goes, if you were to read the terms of use, you wouldn't have this problem. And then you guys are going to love this. Ready? Get ready for this. This is really exciting. She goes, here's the exact look on her face. Well, you guys are just trying to figure this out on your own. Why don't you have a Facebook rep? Hang on a second. Oh, hang on. She goes, do you fill out support tickets? And I go, yeah, 60% of them don't get returned. Like, I have documentation. She goes, I don't believe that. Every one of them gets returned. And I go, tell me the qualifications for a Facebook rep, whatever it takes. So she goes, well, I have friends that are in that department. No, she called them, this is important terminology. She has SMB and partner reps. She goes, and again, full kimono. And this is my ad account. This is any of my clients. It's the only reason I'm talking about numbers. So she goes, okay, to be an SMB partner, there's some qualifications you have to go through. They don't let you know what those are. But can you spend $10,000 over 90 days? And I go, yeah, I spent $20,000 in December in the first 2 weeks. Like, I'm good to go. She goes, you could be a Facebook partner. And I go, what's a Facebook partner?
That sounds sexy.
Yeah, it sounds even better. She goes, but you're going to have to spend $30,000 over 90 days. And I go, great, I'll show you my history. $76,000, 90 days. Like, you guys all know the math. You put in 1,000, make 1,100. It sounds sexy for $75,000, but you just got to know your numbers, right?
Yeah.
So, and I tell people, by the way, that's all cash. I don't use any credit cards. Damn it, I should be getting more airline miles, but I max out credit cards too fast. That's a whole other story. Anyway, she goes, let me talk to one of my friends that I've built a relationship with in SMB. I'll look over your account. So I had 3 accounts closed on Monday. One was software as a service. Some of these are big guys that you guys already see, that like everybody sees their ads anyway. So we are working through her to work through a friend, but this is a friend of a friend. It's not her main job. So like, I'm thinking in the back of my head after I tell you guys this whole story, it's like, no matter how good of a citizen you are, no matter what you do right, no matter how many people that you teach, no matter how much you spend, it literally comes down to a friend of a friend of a friend that's going to do you a favor. She just sent me a message that said, Kurt, I'm happy to help. I'm really busy today. So I'm not going to be able to help, but I will later tonight. And I don't think she understands that there are lots of small businesses on hold as she eats this amazing, they have really good lunch at Facebook, just to let you know. So
the grilled cheese is spectacular.
You know, the last thing I'll give you too is she said over and over, if you just read the terms of use, and I told her that because we don't get feedback, we make this weird stuff up in our head. And I go, let me give you an example. I thought that I couldn't use Facebook's logo. I didn't know I couldn't use the smaller case F. So I muted every time I said Facebook in the video. Actually, I didn't mute it. I cut it out of my speech. And she goes, that is the dumbest thing I heard. And I go, I know, but this is the stuff we make up in our mind because we don't know the rules. And then she said, let me see if I can help you get a rep. And then I swear to God, here's the way that it ended. And I go, let me ask you a question. Facebook told me to start another account, which again, I made a video, happy to show you, like, here's everything we've been going through the last 2 weeks. And I go, because you guys all know we want to get this answered. I go, but let me ask you a question. I spent so much money on conversion pixels and an audience retargeting. I can't use audience insights. I can't share the audience pixels, but I can share the conversion pixels and the fan page and the website. Can I use the same conversion pixels, website, and fan page? Swear to God, here's how it happens. She goes, you know, Kurt, and then I hear this, okay, everybody, we're clearing out lunch right now. We have a meeting. I'm like, Jesus, please don't do this to me right now. So I asked her the same question again, and she's like, I'll get back to you. And I'm corresponding with her right now to get some more answers tomorrow. But those were some of my read the terms of use, and you should be working with a Facebook rep.
Wow, that's a great highlight. Hashtag
so basically, Facebook is a mafia who makes the rules and changes them however they fucking see fit, whenever they see fit. And none of us know what the fuck we're talking about. And we're just going to do our best.
So I found a girl, and I could look her name up. I have it saved here somewhere. I've always wondered, like, what's my backup plan, right? I mean, we all treat this as our business. Justin had talked about this before. Like, this is all the way we feel in our families. There's actually a girl, and maybe I'll look this up while you guys are going over some of your updates too. She's in charge of I'm going to look this up, usability. Basically, here's the problem, is Facebook, as I'm kind of looking off to the side of my other screen, Facebook refers to all of their people as users. Okay. And this girl's forcing people to use the word users right here. Is there a way that I can send you guys?
Chat box down below.
There's a chat box down below. Chat. Okay.
Yep.
So this girl right here, by going to this amazing place, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, called Google. It's just absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
So what this girl is, she's director of product design. She's mandated that engineers refer to users as humans versus users to bring back the human element. So I feel like my major update is, I feel I'm just a cog in the wheel that all these automated updates are happening. Accounts are closed. She goes, you can ask for a manual review. I didn't even know that was an option. So since 80% of this is automatically going through filters, and then these people are literally like, what's this? Click, 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 click. And they don't understand the ramifications. I was interested to reach out to her. Like, I filled out 7 trouble tickets yesterday. I had to fill out this trouble ticket because I filled out one trouble ticket, by the way, where I filled it out for an account that I have, and I go for Social Media Ad Genius, and they go, Kurt, sorry, everything's corrected. They turned on an ad account that's been inactive for 4.5 years. The first one I ever ran and burned to the ground, they reactivated that, but not the other account I wrote about. Yeah. So I'm like, here's my video.
Yeah, it happened to me, I think 2.5 years after an account shut down. I went and just sent out an email, and it was on within 12 minutes. I just caught it at the right time. But we had the same experience. I mean, we had a rep at some point because we had guys running a lot of traffic in Europe, and she was a European rep. I mean, even a direct email to a rep, I couldn't get a response. I think out of 10 emails, she responded to 2. And it was and they were really short.
Yep.
And very vague. And I was like, oh, I'm willing to send you whatever you need. Like, I really want to work with you. Blah, 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 right? And then just incommunicado, just gone, not even available.
They changed departments, and that's it. Yeah.
Well, the problem was with them is the guys that had the rep, even with the rep, their account still got shut down.
Yep.
Now, their rep went to bat for them because she's like, look, I reviewed all the ads. I put everything up, blah, 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 blah. But did they ever get their account back? I don't think they did.
I don't think so.
I don't think they did.
Okay, so real quick, we were all, without giving away too much, but to let all you guys know, we were just talking about all going to an event coming up soon. So they always talk about a main product that they run as well, too, that's been shut down 4 times. I'm pretty sure everybody here knows what I'm talking about. And this product that's been shut down 4 times, it's they came to talk to me to say, hey, Kurt, could you run this? And I'm like, I have other clients in that niche. I guess we could. They go, well, do you have a Facebook rep? And I go, that's interesting. They're kind of like leprechauns. Like I'll meet them once, they disappear. We'll never see them again. And then I started seeing ads for that company run again. And I'm thinking, if it's got done shut down 4 times, but they went with an agency with a dedicated rep, so the dedicated rep's the only thing that it takes to run through any of their ads. Because I see their ads all the time now where they closed all these ton of accounts. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Unless they're going through burn accounts.
No, these guys are big enough where they have to run consistent traffic.
Yeah.
They can't just turn it and burn it. So I know they're working with a rep. So I'm like, I know the rep makes all the difference, but how do you build a relationship? Here's the thing is at the end of the day, in my opinion, is we just have to find somebody who just gives a shit about us and treats us as human beings and wants to hear our story and then be an advocate. Because other than that,
the thing is, and I think what the whole purpose of starting this whole thing was that we could be the voice, right? And I love what you said, which is tell me and I will tell them. Like we all have reach. People look to us for information about what's working and not working on Facebook. If we just had one person that we can communicate with that could give us like a little bit of know-how, everyone would be better off. And it just feels like it's the same thing. I love that you said the leprechaun thing because that's really how it is. They're like, oh, look at me, I'm here. No, I'm gone.
I tell every Facebook rep the same story, and I go, and I say it over and over and over. I go, I met a girl, not Kristen. Dang it, now it's going to pass me. Is just sitting down with her at Facebook South by Southwest. Like that one thing taught me about the conversion pixel. I mean, it changed everything. And I told her, I'm like, you guys, you don't realize this, but you really have a butterfly effect. It's whatever you tell us, like we're going to tell other people. And I think that when I say that, she's even a little apprehensive, like, whatever, he doesn't really have a reach. Or if they just wrote the terms of use, they'd understand. And I even posted on Facebook after she friended me. Oh, sorry, one important thing. And I want to say this carefully. I'm telling you really you guys, but I know everybody's going to see this. I told her that I was frustrated that Facebook didn't follow up with me when I would talk to specific reps at events. And she goes, did you ever friend them on Facebook? And I go, no, that's creepy. She goes, no, that's how we communicate with all of our clients.
Wow. Wow.
I just want to know the rules. That's all I want.
So let me ask you this, because it sounds to me like something where this is going, and I think, at least Guy, Jess, and I, we've definitely been talking about this for a while, which is most people showed up on Facebook after they got kicked off of Google, and they try to make Facebook be Google.
Yeah.
Which is like, here's my ad, buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit, which we kind of spoke about in the last one. And I think they missed the point, and I think Facebook never wanted it to be that. And the videos to me sounds more of like their answer to kind of doing more of like the native ad type stuff, which is like informational, educational. You're actually providing people value when they're on there. They're getting something of value, and you're not just trying to stuff shit down their throat. Did they say anything about like why they're trying to push video so hard? Is it to kind of make that transition where like they believe on video, you actually have to deliver on value?
So that's interesting. I mean, I don't know about your guys' experience, but like from my experience, most of my clients won't do videos. Like they got to get in production and get makeup, like just stupid stuff. And I'm like, no, get an iPhone video and it sounds like crap. People love that stuff.
Yep.
It just whatever their own stuff is between their own 2 ears. What I personally feel is video is an emerging technology inside of Facebook. So for the adaptability, they're always going to make it cheaper, targeting a lot easier. You can retarget people who watch a certain video. I feel, rumor is, I haven't verified any stats, but if I'm going to say this right, the virality of videos on Facebook are now more powerful than what they are on YouTube.
Wow.
Supposedly with shares and stuff like that. I mean, I have some friends, I don't know about you guys, but like, let's just take, for example, the video we did, we got 5,000 views on it, just organically. We didn't promote it. I sent to my list. You guys did. Justin did. But I've seen friends who did a video on their Facebook post that got 1,500 views that was filmed 6 hours ago that really don't have very many followers. So compared to our reach and our list hitting YouTube versus some dude on a camcorder,
Interesting. I definitely noticed that too. I had a friend, Dimitri, who put up just like a video of him driving in the car, sharing something about his birthday.
I know exactly what you're talking
about. It was
like
an hour later, there's like 1,700 views on it. And I'm like, holy fuck, like how many people saw this thing? And now that you say it, it really has hit me. But it's the medium of the future, right? Everyone eventually will be on video. I always use that. Like I hated when the ALS thing was happening. But the one thing that while I was looking at that really impressed me, especially from a marketer point of view, was the virality of it, right? Obviously. But what impressed me even more was people getting on video. All these people that, under normal pretenses, normal structures would never put themselves on video, especially not being that authentic or making goofballs out of themselves. Like people just don't do that shit because they want to look good and they want to pretend to be a certain way. So from my point of view, I was like, damn, I'm like, they really, really did something here. If they've convinced your average Joe to pick up a camera and make an ass out of themselves. And I've been kind of trying to reverse engineer what the fuck they did from a psychological point of view that had so many people take action. And I have some theories, obviously nothing is solid, but look, they are blowing the trumpet real hard on the whole video thing right now.
Kurt, are you, I know from Jason, you're still using landing pages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Straight up landing pages. Simple.
Yeah. Pages, very simple stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Kurt, did you talk to them anything about landing pages? Like why they're hating on them so much?
No, it's kind of interesting. You got 45 minutes. You want to appeal to a person and not throw up all over them with all this data and stuff that you got, right? You got the eye rolls. Honestly, I was just trying to depress small business owner that's like, oh my God, you're amazing. If I can just get the next answer. Like I was just trying to draw it out of her. So she tells me like a lot of the Facebook branding stuff. She goes, just do that on your landing page. So just do that on your landing page. She really directed stuff over to the landing page. So I was more interested in what was wrong with my video because she said I had 3 strikes and there were all these different things inside of the video. Like that was what she really wanted to say, read the terms of use. Let's look inside your video. And I'm like, yeah, but tell me about, it was really that your landing page was congruent. There wasn't any false representations. I've seen some stuff fly around recently about continuity. She brought out continuity. If you sell continuity straight up, I think we already talked about this. It is really just sending people straight into the funnel, and then you figure everything out on the back funnel. Yeah. Facebook doesn't really need to know what the subscription is, any of that other stuff until they opted in, go through your sales process. She mainly just said, make sure the landing page is congruent. Whatever you're going to say, don't say it in your ad, say it over on your landing page. It can't confuse the user. It can't fool the user, obviously. No pop-ups whatsoever. Her big thing was terms of use over and over and over and claims. I told her we had a real estate account shut down recently. And she goes, oh, that's probably because, and I don't understand this language. Maybe you guys will get this. She goes, maybe that's because they said you can make 5,000 to 10,000 doing this. You can say you can make up to this, have the ability to make up to this. Wow. And I mean, we don't even say that. We say, how would you like to not manage tenants and toilets and manage all of your real estate from a kiosk? She goes, that's brilliant. That's exactly what we want. And I go, that account got shut down. She goes, oh, well, I have to look around it. So I do know I'm not advising any clients to run stuff to a VSL. We have some clients that will come in, we'll run it to a landing page, and they're like, listen, I'm not doing a very good follow-up. Let's run it straight to a VSL. Give me about 2 weeks and that stuff's shut. There's a couple of clients that I have that we can run continuously to a VSL. Most of it's, and I'd love to hear from you guys too, most of it's webinar registration or I don't want to say a complicated opt-in, but it is not get 10,000 leads. Here's your email address. It is, disclaimer, article, opt-in. What about you guys? Where do you guys send? Where are you sending?
I mean, it's interesting. We've been working with a couple of big clients also who basically told us like what they're working on. And this kind of came from the rep, like these guys that worked with the rep a little while back. They had told them that the landing pages they want have everything on it. So like scrollable tabs. So it's more like built like a website where you take them and it has like everything there. So like the about like all these links to about us, FAQs, privacy. It's like everything is super, super accessible, and they've been building these like super elaborate landing pages to try to get approved. And I'm like, I don't know if that's really the answer. I mean, they're getting them approved and they're working. Conversions are obviously down. I mean, you're giving them a lot more information. That's kind of expected. But then Jason, on the other hand, is running like same old, like super, super simple landing pages. But I think, Jason, you could probably speak to this. Like, your biggest shift has been to somehow continue the conversation and educate, right?
We've got a few different strategies that we use depending on the market. So we're running straight to like really super simple squeeze page designs where it's pretty much just a headline and a button. When I'm doing that, what I'm doing is we start a conversation in the ad, and the landing page continues the conversation. So it's not like we have the exact same headline on the ad as on the landing page. It's like we introduce a thought, and then we continue that thought with a call to action for them to opt in on those super simple pages. Then, we've got pages where it's a more elaborate opt-in page where maybe there's an article around it, or, there's just more content along with the opt-in. We're also going straight to webinar, like webinar registration, like Kurt had said. And then we've got, stuff where we're going to like a hybrid type page where it's got a VSL at the top and some, sales copy below it. All of those are working.
Webinar registration, I think, is the only one that I've ever heard that they don't really shut down for consistently.
Unless you have claims.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much like, hey, you'll get the information on here. Give us your, information, and you'll be reminded. That's the only one that I know has like been pretty much bulletproof, right, Jay?
Yeah, we haven't seen any issues with that, unless, like Kurt said, there are claims, because some people are talking about how to make an extra $5,000 a month and stuff like that. That will get shut down. But from what I understand, now that I'm starting to get into some conversations with people in Facebook, they're really looking for a clear business objective on that page. And so with the webinar registration, you're making it really clear, like they're registering for an actual event, where, if you think about a simple squeeze page, oftentimes it's not clear on there what exactly they're getting. So that, I think the reason why our squeeze pages are working really well is we always use language in the pre-headline or in the headline that tells them exactly what they're going to get when they opt in. And then we're also using that type of language. I call it setting the expectation in the ad. So, when we do our call to actions, we'll say, click here and register to get this cheat sheet, for example, or click here and enter your email to get this free cheat sheet. So that way we're making it a clear business objective throughout the whole process, so they know what we're trying to accomplish.
Did you ever end up connecting with the rep?
I am in this program that's called Facebook Go. Are you guys familiar with that?
We talked about it last time.
So I'm really curious. Like I said, I just did a little video on this, and I have my own opinion. So I'd love to hear. Is this your first experience with a Facebook Go rep, or is this a second or third time around?
This is my first experience, and I'm at the stage where I haven't got to an account manager yet. So I'm still in talks with kind of like a middle guy right now. And
the first 30 days?
Yep. And so what we're doing is we're just getting some of the things in the account aligned with the way that they want to have it before they pass you off to what they call an account manager, which is basically the rep, and they'll help you strategize and give you some insights on, what they see being successful in certain markets and stuff like that. And then they work with you for like 30 days under that. And then after that, you can basically, you'll get their contact information, and you can, have them help you with stuff.
So let me throw this out there as devil's advocate, because it was like 6-9 months ago that we were going to go through this. We got contacted to go through this Facebook Go program when they just launched it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was like not even a year. And I remember we started talking to this person, and they were like, we're going to need all of this, like every account you've ever owned, every email address you ever use, every credit. And we were just like, whoa, Nelly, do we really want to go down that rabbit hole? And then be like, well, this was tied to this. And because this was shut down, you're fucked in this account. And we were like, well, we're running, traffic right now. Do we really want to get on the radar? So I'm curious, Jay, it's like, do you feel...
They didn't ask me for any of that stuff.
Okay, so maybe it's changed now.
Well, it might have been the positioning that I was using, because I came to them saying, look, I'm an agency, and I've got a bunch of clients that I want to help with. And so, all they asked for was information on the client accounts. They didn't ask for any of my own stuff.
Interesting.
See, for us, we've done this. So we've done it 3-4 times now. Very first time was about a year ago. We got a rep. We're like, Leprechaun, this is awesome. And we're like, okay. Here's the thing. They're like, we're an agency. And they go, what? Well, you said we need to spend $1,500. We easily do that. Oh, I need to call you back. Well, that went rep number 1. Rep number 2 comes around, and we're like, okay. Here's what we're going to do. We did this with an employee, so separate account. And they're like, yeah, we're a small business. And then I think they screwed up and said that, hey, we're an agency. I have a question real quick on a client's account. Yeah, we'll return your phone call. The third time we had one of our employees actually go through the 30-day program, saying that we were a small business. And then when it came time for the handoff, the day before she was supposed to meet with us the last time, she got transferred. So that went to no rep. Oh. And then this fourth time, said agency again, and they just kind of disappeared. So that was actually one of the questions I was going to ask. I was going to ask Jason as well too, is we went through the approach of, hey, you have to be a small business, because anytime we said agency, they freaked out. But you're saying the Go program for you said agency, and they're helping you with all of your clients, or just a select few? Or
we started with just 2, and they're going to open it up to anybody that I want to have the help with.
Wow. And Jay, how long ago did you start working with them?
It was in December when I applied for it.
Yeah.
And Kurt, when was the last time you did it?
When I first approached him, he totally freaked me out. He wanted account IDs from previous accounts. He wanted to know what kind of ads we were running and to show him examples. I mean, it was like, I basically felt like the NSA was like building a case against me, not like he was trying to help me. So, when they kind of talked to him, like, oh yeah, sorry buddy. I'm like, something came up and the business got to go. He emailed me one more time. I just didn't respond. And that's kind of where it ended, because I've already been in a situation enough times on Facebook to know when it's working, just fucking leave it alone. Because if you start tinkering and like something happens, it's just a pain in the ass. I mean, our account, I don't know how much money we've run through it. I would guess like personally close to somewhere between $750,000 and $1 million. I really don't want to fuck with that account. I've had it for like 2.5 years. So I don't need anybody snooping around and being like, oh, by the way, we missed this one. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's not what I want. So that's just kind of where it ended.
Jay, do you want to say something?
Kurt, what department did you try to go through to get that?
Is Facebook Go? It was one of those things where they reached out and they said, hey, we'd like to help. And then we said agency, and they go, this is honestly really just set up for small businesses, people who are just starting out. So then that's when our next guy was like, hey, we're just starting out, and then kind of hopped along a little bit.
I think it's the department then, because I got a special number through somebody you probably know. I'm not going to say anything about it on here, but I can share it with you. If you call this number, it'll make a huge difference. It's a different.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that you can go in back of regular support and request Go from there. I have not requested Go in the last 60 days.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is a phone number that when you call it, somebody will actually pick it up.
Wow.
It's like
it goes straight to a live person. Yeah.
I have another little wrinkle. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. I was just saying I'd love to know my options. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I have another little wrinkle that happened. And Ilan, I didn't even tell you this. 2 weeks ago, I started getting a prompt on top of my thing. Facebook would approve us for a credit line. And up to $150,000 credit line.
Yep. I've seen that.
Damn, son. Now, again, I'm so concerned about talking to a rep because I don't want them going through my history and shutting down an account. I would almost rather just have the account be under the radar than be above water on anything with them, because every time I've heard anybody talk to them, all I hear is their accounts are getting shut down. It's like the more you're on the radar, the more they're looking into your shit, the less likely you're to have an account that runs for a long time. We've had this account for 2.5 years, untouched, running stuff that a lot of people can't run.
Yeah.
But it would be awesome to have a credit line. Like,
I just recorded a video of going through the support area and which buttons to click and how you click on disapproved ads that go the wrong way. But I remember that from a couple of other people who applied for the line of credit, or they saw the line of credit come up, or they wanted to go to 30-day invoicing. And I love this saying, and I always say this over and over when I start to make a decision, especially with Facebook, is pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. So I'm like, well, because I know a guy who sent over 8 clients, hey, let's do the 30-day invoicing. That's what my clients want. And they're like, oh, really? You want to come to the IRS for an audit to see if maybe we can hang out a little bit? That's cool. And they wiped out everything. And they're like, oh, there goes your business. And he's like, Dills, I just wanted to do the right thing. Like, I'm just going to do exactly what you said. I'm just going to do what I'm doing right now. I just want a little help. I don't want anything else. I'll pay my bill on a daily basis. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to be shut down.
I feel like everything they do is to bait you into giving them more information so that they can find what you're doing wrong. And it's honestly, it's not worth it. Like, I would rather keep spending our own money than going down that road with them. And it's a huge concern.
So I have a quick question. I have to be off in about 7 minutes. I'd love to hear your guys' kind of thoughts on 2015. I can tell you what I'm working on in 2015 to overcome this, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts of 2015.
Sure.
You want to go?
Yeah. So we're of the mindset, and we shared this, I think, on the previous call, which, like, I love what I think it was Justin was saying. That's like, what is the user? Is this enhancing the user experience or not? And so our whole thing is like, how are we building stuff that enhances user experience? And this is kind of the way I envision it. People go onto Facebook because they're bored at work. They want to see what their friends are up to. They want to see pictures of their kids or grandkids or other whatever. Like, no one goes onto Facebook and is like, today I want to find how to start a new business, or today I want this amazing hair cream that's going to make my hair grow. Like, no one does that.
Yep.
What they do is they like scroll around, and if something piques their interest, right, you start a conversation, and then now you're taking them down a rabbit hole. So my whole thing is like, if I know who my audience is in whatever niche it is, how can I serve that audience? And by serve that audience, I mean, give them content that they actually want, right? So like, one of the things that we're about to launch, we're in the final process of putting together, is our back end to this, and I'll start there, is a high-end entrepreneurial community, kind of like a community that you can come in and build a business online, right? And the packages are really expensive. I mean, it goes up to $30,000. But on the front end, you can't really say that. You can't be like, hey, join this amazing community and learn. Like, it just doesn't work. So we said, I read this amazing book by Robert Greene. It's called Mastery. And so what we're doing is, this is the first book we're going to launch. We're basically creating like a free book giveaway funnel, but not with our own book. You know, a lot of people like create their own DVDs or books or whatever. Jason's actually had success with that. We're like going to give we're going to ship it straight from Amazon to you. That's it. And the idea is, I get the right mindset person, right? Because I know that those are the type of people. So they're getting great value. Then I can start continuing that conversation. Because if someone has raised their hand and said, hey, I want this type of education, then guess what? I know I can have a different conversation with you. So that's the kind of stuff that we're going to start building, which I don't know how Facebook could ever come to us against that stuff. It's like, I'm being straight up. I'm giving people amazing value. I'm like, there's nothing that they can say or do. And that's really where we're going for in 2015. And just before I let someone else speak, I want to just share one other highlight that I read. And probably you guys saw this article too. That Facebook has released that they've been like looking at the trillion of data points about what people share, what people like, what you post about, questions, whatever.
Yep.
What they want to do, and I don't know how soon this is going to come out, but what they want to do is basically allow the marketers to do kind of more like search type advertising. So if someone's going to say like, hey, to your friends, like, hey, who's got a good recommendation for restaurants in San Francisco?
Yep.
And you're a marketer for a restaurant in San Francisco, it's like, that's exactly who you'll be able to target. Very similar to what Google's doing. Yep. If that happens, I mean, all of us will be having field days. So
I mean, they kind of have that now inside of graph search, but it's just not it's not refined yet. Like
exactly.
Well, kind of, sort of, but
it's not usable to the point where you can be like, well, I can go to some client who owns a pizza shop in San Francisco and say, hey, I'm going to get you a ton of business. It's just not there. So that's really what we're focusing on. Our goal in 2015 is to get away from landing pages, to kind of use more of the content, conversation, retargeting, and do it that way, then hit them on the front end with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say, for me, because I do a lot more of the marketing stuff, it's definitely becoming much more of a content and branding play for me right now, especially with like boosted posts. I actually get a ton of traffic from, a lot of shares on our content, and I would almost rather see the value 3, 4, 5, 6 months out just by consistently putting together good content and just having people get to know us and then naturally buying the content through the website than just start slamming them over the head. But I kind of want to play in both worlds, and that's where my frustration comes in. I love the branding stuff. I love the long-term relationship building, but at the same time, it's like if I'm putting money out, I got to see a return also. Yeah. Otherwise, I can't keep putting money out. Yeah. So I'm like, we're treading lightly in those worlds. We've been very fortunate from what I know, and for the most part, I hope this doesn't put us on some fucking radar somewhere. To be honest, really, like we're on enough radars with Facebook as it is for our stuff that we've done. But yeah, that's, and I like that. It makes me feel good. I don't want to do the undermined marketing. I don't want to make false claims. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I just want people to know you got to fucking work. Like that's pretty much what I need you to know. Yeah. Like this works if you work, right?
Jay?
Yeah. I mean, my whole thing is just trying to figure out how to make direct response compliant on Facebook. Like, cause I mean, you can go the native route. I've tried that. I have a hard time making that convert at the numbers, especially my clients are looking for.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just continuing to try to get on the inside and have somebody that can give me some freaking clarity to how to make direct response work compliantly on Facebook.
Jay, we're going to send you in naked next time to FB. Maybe you'll get some other answers.
I have been working on my body.
It's for my body.
I'll go here real quick because I got to run here in just a minute. Which I appreciate everybody's time, and like I said, I'll share the video that I had talked about and a link to all of our other stuff. So a couple of things is I really agree with all you guys. I mean, the one thing is like I agree with over on Jason's side. I agree with all you guys on. I get clients that come over and they want to make an ROI in 30 to 60 days, which is cool. But on the other side, just repeat you, they don't treat it like a fucking business. And they're like, well, wait a minute. I had a client the other day. They're like, Kurt, I've spent $4,000 with you. I split tested 3 landing pages. I am sick and tired of making landing pages. And I go, dude, I can put in $1,000, make $1,500 with my offer. Like, and we just scale whatever. He goes, that's nice. And I go, yeah, and it took me 90 days and I tested 30 different pages. Like, and we said this before, McDonald's restaurant, $500,000 in, $100,000 net worth. You spend in a year, you break even 4 months or 3 months at Hamburger University. Like, I don't know wherever people ever thought of, the interwebs means instant money, right? Yeah. So the branding play, I completely agree with you guys with. Jason, completely agree with you as well too, where clients want a fast ROI. So here's really what I've been looking into and really thinking of, which is, okay, I want to do the direct response and I want to build the relationship as well. So what I'm just doing now with clients is saying, okay, here's what we're going to do is we'll set you up with the whole funnel. We really talk about funnel targeting, and I'll be talking a lot more about this over the next couple of months. But we set up a ton of retargeting pixels in each part of the funnel. So that would be with Twitter, that would be with AdRoll, that would be with Perfect Audience. We do with Google Display as well, which obviously kind of overlaps. Now they all kind of overlap each other just a little bit, but here's the thing, which I think is absolutely amazing to round out about it is a lot of people, they all copy each other, right? It's like, oh, they got a nice car over there. Oh crap! If I just had leather seats, then I just. Yeah. So for instance, Twitter's coming out with similar audiences. Google's doing the exact same thing as well. Perfect Audience, you're able to upload your email list. And if you have all those retargeting pixels put in, if Facebook gets shut down, these retargeting platforms like Site Scout can still display on the Facebook network whether you have an ad account or not.
Exactly.
So what I want to do is I want to set people up with a bunch. It really kind of goes back to the old days of doing a bunch of SEO stuff for people and saying, hey, it's cool. If one gets shut down, that's cool because I got these other retargeting options and I have this other cold traffic coming in. But I'll tell you this, and I may have mentioned this in the last call, spending $25 on Twitter and then having a rep proactively call us, spending $300 on Google and Google calling us, spending $300 on LinkedIn, spending $150 on ad roll. And I'm thinking, I had no idea how bad my current girlfriend Facebook is, how much all these other people want to talk to me and work with me. So let's get everything set up, treat it like a damn business. Let's run it for the long term. But if something gets shut off, we're just going to focus into cold market and retargeting and go with the marketing play because I require the direct response and 30-day turn stuff.
Yeah. I think the future is in retargeting as well. I think we all do that. It's just a matter of how to get people onto those lists. I think next time we should definitely talk about with retargeting specifically, like the sequencing, like sequenced ads, how that's been kind of the wave that
I'm actually recording that this week and next week. I just did a webinar on it last week with Todd Brown.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like going to be the next step. So
I agree.
All right, boys.
All right, dude.
I appreciate all you guys. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Likewise. Awesome share today. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye.